Botsa of Egypt and Joseph Broz Tito of the then Yugoslavia, who launched the movement in this famous city of Belgrade 60 years ago, Ghana has remained a faithful adherent of its principles, that is, respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of states, non-interference in the domestic affairs of states, and non-aggression against states. We believe that the strength of the movement is determined not just by its numbers, but more significantly by the attachment to the principles that founded it. At the 1961 summit, Kwame Nkrumah, whose daughter Samia is a member of Ghana's delegation to this commemorative meeting, raised a matter that was topical and on the front burner at the time: the threat of nuclear weapons and the imperative to disarm. He said, and I quote, "This conference should call on the powers of the world to disarm. They must disarm to ensure that they are unable to strike against each other. If you want peace, stop preparing for war," unquote.
Afeyantua ensem no eso na yekọ akwakopemu ewo mrahye na eye majority leader wono ewo mrahye bedwem yera osei che mensa bosu sabre de wodi nsem bi atudwa HSS Speaker of Parliament nsem a woka edefa eye anti LGBTQ no bill no eho no wose sansem na woka ye no ewo se wo hwe ne yie papa efa eye human rights ehu ensem sema ekoso no speaker ekoso a ekase womu entumi entwe nia ebesinu nemum no parliament aye na adwense eye den a womu ebe pass bill no na osai chairmansa bonso edin semweni na eto ensentwefo enim eba eno ekoso ewo parliament ana womu edi asemi hu abobo.
It's not majority versus minority in parliament. This is a matter for Parliament. Now, let me at the very outset indicate that members of Parliament are representatives of the people, and the citizens of this country should rest assured that Parliament would not turn our backs on them. The issues contained are, that is in this bill before us, are matters that all of us, and I'm not sure that any member of Parliament would be against the principle of this bill. No member would be against this. I think it's the smithing of it. How do we attain the results that we all want? So I guess, as I said, when we come to the bridge, we certainly will be able to cross it. Where there is a will, there is always a way. Because I'm African, I'm an African, I'm a Ghanaian, Ashanti, a Kwabri man, and I have my own values, I have my own upbringing, right? So that one is shaped by my traditional upbringing. As I've said, along the line, Christian as I am, and I was born into Assemblies of God. So my faith also impacts on my upbringing. We have our own concepts of what is right and what is wrong. I don't know of any ethnic group in this country that will applaud this. If I heard right, the speaker was even saying that the bill is going to be passed, if I heard right. But I have a little bit of a challenge with that. Technically, the speaker is not a member of Parliament. So the speaker cannot commit Parliament. The speaker can make a referral to Parliament, which will be programmed by the business committee for consideration. But the speaker, I'll find it difficult if you have a speaker who would, in spite of his own antecedents as a former member of Parliament, to say that Parliament is going to pass the bill. It's a bit of a difficulty, unless I didn't hear well. But if I heard well, that Parliament is going to pass it, that would present some challenge. I'm not saying Parliament is not going to pass it, but the Speaker should not make a predetermination for the House, because he's not a member of Parliament, and this is the business of Parliament.
Afe yenshe ensema Speaker of Parliament Yera Alban Babin wakan ye edefa July bosumeno emu enam so ema majority leader Yera will say che mensa bonsu edisanu ye eko edemano.
I sit here as the Speaker of Ghana. I represent Ghanaians and the country Ghana. We have spoken with one voice that we don't want anything to do with whatever terms they add, because there's still no end yet. As we are told, we used to call it lesbians and gays. Then they started talking about transgender, they talked about transsexual, they talked about queer, and they've added another Q. And then they started intersex, and then they brought another A. They added another A. Now they added P. And then they see two letters that they see a plus. One of their activists called Mo said in social media, I'm a funny person. That the Speaker is a funny person. I will continue to be funny to make sure that the right thing is done. I am pro-life, and I will continue to be funny to make sure that lives are saved in the world. I will continue to be funny to ensure that this world created by God as a garden of Eden for us to enjoy will continue to be enjoyable by all of us. We will not threaten any person, but we shall also not be threatened. And all those threatening the members of Parliament who are leading this bill, please be warned. We cannot be threatened in our homes. This must be stated loud and clear to those who have come to do business in Ghana, those who represent their countries and think that they are right. We also represent our country. And they can never dictate to us as to how to live or not to live in this world. And I'm very clear in my mind that this House, the Parliament of Ghana, will pass this bill as soon as possible.
Ghana ni mrenimni lawyer Morris Ampao watutu bi ediama lawyer Akoto Ampao ni na enese wose pape wo support LGBTQ+ no na chese yema emema ho kwan no womo emfa womo yonko emema na manso enye sa pepepe wo chese wo peni deliverance pa enwo hia.
Listen to me, the law is clear. Gayism and lesbianism no illegal. The only thing is saying a crime, but illegal. Now, what we need to do is that tell your members to stop. Catch up with. That's all. Akoton Power Utemia, my namesake. Utemia. Catch a gay follow and members say, catch them say, lead a crusade to tell them that if you don't want criminalization, then stop the practice. And I'm for deliverance. And I never try to say, Akotompa, lead the crusade of gathering up. And now, Omukase Mukibu, Namukachu Mumbra. You shall know, Mompagana Fortress here. Then you view, that's a clap. And to know, Mumma, Ebia 1 year. na yɛntwa so yɛnyɛ gɛ ne biom ɛne deɛ nanka bɛn no nso akɔda but sɛ mogya ɔmo na ɔmo yɛ ɛsɛ nkwalaa ɛto encourage lesbianism na wo kwa mo yɛ normal enti mama o yɛ bɛn sɛ obufu because sɛbi ọba sẹbi ọba ayase dẹdẹdẹ sẹyi na mani ni akọdọ ọmọ ma ayase kọmbadi yẹn wu wúyọ bẹẹma the issue is not about law total law pute but look at it from the angle of sexual satisfaction sẹ man ni akọyẹ lesbian na ukwu wọ baby up and say please I don't love you I have my girl now ẹ mani ni ayẹ girl supi ya remember yẹ de fa he. Emmanuel de sebi omu wo say dia bi o omu wo sa toy me machines na sebi omu de yom woduma ba ya dia de pagya de call and this is the issue we must understand what is here and then our children na me musumbo bi me mana ma wo mu wiase no wo yo ba na be ye me ba supia yamaya wono wo memu no ana wo bema na be to me ba so be for me ba to a me du tro be to bema no na be shutu se po ya be kat bema no what do you say what nonsense is that why do you want to destroy procreation why do you want to in the name of human rights human right is so much here akotompa won here. Let me say, look, in this country, let me say it once again. Politics have destroyed all our legal practitioners.
Ashanti Regional Minister Yera Simon Osei Mensa Sabridie what the NSMB ato eye Nyenehin District Security Council enim se womo enye enhwehwemu emfa ne nam so ema eja etumi eto eye Nyenehin Catholic Senior High School no emu na afi womo a eye saade no won for mo emegina emra no enim wo kire se ne eye ya wasem yi mu kra ene dormitory block a womo ehye no no enu nti no enim ya womo enye enhwehwemu na ne etuemu bia no womo emfamra na wo bia enhu bi.
In fact, what is surprising is that RESEC sent message out that some of the third-year students of the various senior high schools were planning to cause troubles after their final exams. So we should all have been on the alert. I don't know why this one, they left themselves loose and it happened. But this is something we've sent message around quite a long time from the level of the Regional Security Council that some of them were planning evil. And unfortunately, it has come to pass in the case of Achman-Punia district. I've asked the DCE to call an emergency DISEC meeting for them to discuss the issue. Because this one, the police will have to do the investigation. The fire service will also have to do the investigation.
Afe yekopiemu ewo mrashebejemu ebio na eya domkuma emu nipa mienu awomo eye Kweku Ricketts Hagan ena fe Dr. Jamina Minta Nyakon womo ede atudwa se ne ekoso ewo Cape Coast enam so ema moja ehwiegu ewo Cape Coast efom no womo nina emfa engu mampeni na adodankwa eso se wanya ne niema bi eyie ena fe enam so ema MC ya womo confirm ewo hokeke no ekoba ne sa
Nipa Ghana Mampenyi His Excellence Nana Adudankwa Kufuatu Eboni Din NS Ata akoba se nimpre no so na assembly members yanto aba mfa mma no na dom kuma ni mumra hyebedwafo mienu yi eye Kweku Ricketts Hagan ana Dr. Kwabena Minta Nyako womo friends mtrefo nhyiemu ewo Cape Coast editor udwa ekire se Ghana ban ana afi NPP aban se womo anhye na eye MCE edi amodipa ya bepim sabre assembly members enfuaso no sebasaba se bi esia womo edisobo ebebo Ghana ban any NPP amanyoko no.
I would like to advise these responsible individuals to stop with immediate effect the meddling in Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly elections. They have no business here in Cape Coast. The following people are the Transport Minister, Mr. Kweku Ofori Esiama, who's been meddling in the Assembly elections. The Regional Minister, Honorable Marigold Assam. Any blood, and I mean any blood, that is spilled here in Cape Coast as a result of this confirmation process will not be on my hands. It wouldn't be on the hands of Honorable Mintanyakun. It will not be on the hands of the decent assemblymen. It will only be on the hands of the president and the hands of the perpetrators who have come to Cape Coast to ensure that they forced Honorable Enesata under our throats. The assembly members would like to humbly ask the police commander to investigate a speculation that MPP's invisible forces and land guards have arrived here in Cape Coast on Saturday, the 9th of October, to intimidate the assembly members and the people of Cape Coast who, in their interest, will gather to observe the confirmation process and brutalize them if necessary. They have no reason to doubt that the MCU nominee is capable of doing that because he demonstrated that during the 2020 election when he was a parliamentary candidate and a certain MCE.
Wukopiemu ewo oyarefa eno ewola nkwantana mensiri no emu a enso eto ana omanfo ewo honom wo ebreye papa enso to bia na wo edan mu aye ma na wo kwan mu aye basae no enenam so ema mrasha bedwani awo ho eye Francis Xavier Sosu wode nsem atu dwase enche kra no wo ba bedini manfo enim na demonstration kese pa wo ede asese so na afi anam so ama empenifo etwa wo eni ababehwe wo.
Urgent questions in respect of the lack of planning. I've filed an urgent question in respect of all the roads in Medina, and I've actually the Mensa all the way to Amrehia roads. There's an urgent question on that. There's an urgent question on roads in Sakura, and there's an urgent question on the abandoned project in Medina. In fact, there's an urgent question even on the hospital project that has been abandoned, because when you look at the Kekele hospital, it's just left with something maybe less than 10 or 15% of work, and the entire hospital will be ready. And this Kekele hospital services over 50,000 people annually. And yet, it seems that nothing is working in Medina. I cannot be an MP of an area that would not work. If it is not working, I will make it work. And that is why I am leading my people to demand from the right quarters our own fair share of national development. This is a letter I have addressed. It's just today that I sent this letter. And this letter, I address it to the divisional commander of the Adenta Division Command. And the letter is so clear that we are giving them 5 days notice. Because next week, Monday, under my own leadership, the chiefs, the elders, the youth organizations and the youth leaders, the transport associations, resident associations, everyone who has suffered for using those stretch, particularly from Mensa all the way to Amrehia, we are calling on all of them to come out so that we can use that last tool, which is a tool in a democracy, to freely express our anger to the state and to the government and to the people who are custodians of our money and who have given this roads to contract and have refused to either pay the people for the contractors to come or have just turned their deaf ear to the plight in Medina.
Ebusia medikase no esimidin efia mamu afei mitwa me ho sima yeba agudie ensem enedi so eno ntino maami Jane ede agudie mu nsem ebeto aso ede amaye makraw